Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm gonna be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto was from the two greatest clans. Remember to get this one to 200 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a Deceitful God that I posted over on Anime King 2, and enjoy that guys. And also on this channel, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was sent to the Marvel world after this, so stay tuned for that. And I'm also going to be posting a new episode of What If Aizuna Uchiha was Naruto's ancestor, so stay tuned for that as well guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, the last time we left off, Kisame and Itachi arrived, as Kisame had his sights on Kushina, and that made Naruto very pissed as he wouldn't let any of them touch his mother. As he stepped forward, as both Samantha and Sasuke dashed forward towards Itachi, the both of them did their best to try and push him off, but Itachi was just beyond them, beyond their level right now, as he easily knocked them aside, showing them that he's far superior to them, as he uses Tsukuyomi and placed both of them under his Genjutsu, showing them horrible things, very horrible things. He tried to do the same on Naruto, but Naruto activated his Mangita Sharingan and shattered the Tsukuyomi world, surprising Itachi. Keiichi then released a combined blast of fire and lightning that struck down on Kisame. When the smoke and everything cleared, Samihata burst on the ground and stole some of Kushina's chakra and brought it over to Kisame, as half of Kisame's body was almost incinerated, as his arm was completely gone, as it went straight down, as he absorbed the chakra from Samihata and reformed himself. As he dashed forward with Samihata, Naruto got pissed and out of control, as he was going towards his mother, as Naruto Mangita Sharingan flared to life, as the Amaterasu flames started to incinerate everything around him. It was then that Tsunade appeared and sent a damaging punch right towards Kisame's face that sent him sailing away before he could touch Naruto, as Minato appeared as well, as Itachi then went off with Kisame knowing that they have to retreat now. When Naruto woke up, he found Sasuke and Samantha in their room, as Sasuke was comforting his sister, but Naruto didn't stay behind to hear, as the both of them were angry. After all these years of training, they still couldn't do anything to Itachi. As Samantha talked about the curse mark that gave them unending power that day, that power felt different. Probably they could use it to kill Itachi and make him pay for what he did. As Sasuke was thinking the same thing. Some time passed as Naruto met Raya, as she was a feud lord's daughter, as she didn't have friends, as she was speaking to Naruto in a very disrespectful tone. But Naruto showed her the reason why she didn't have friends because of the way she spoke, as she asked him if he could be her friend, as Naruto told her sure. The time then finally came for the Chunin exams as everyone was there, as Raya came up to the box and wished Naruto good luck, as she also met Sasuke and Samantha, as she asked if they would be her friends as well, as the both of them looked at Naruto curiously, as he just gave him a small nod. The Raikage, the Kazekage, and the Hokage, all of them was in the Kage's booth, as it was time for the Chunin exam finals to begin. So yeah guys, that was basically the last point left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we start this new episode? Genma was in the middle of the ring. As everyone had quieted down, it was time. The first match of the finals will be Shikamaru Nara versus Temari of the Sand, he said. As Temari then looked down, she then looked over at Shikamaru, as she then hopped on her fan and glided down there. Shikamaru stood there with an unreadable expression on his face. As a few seconds passed, he didn't move. Hey, aren't you gonna go down there? Naruto asked. As Shikamaru sighed, I think I could just stay up here. And I would probably just forfeit the match by not going down there, he said. As Naruto shook his head, Shikamaru was really lazy. You know, that's a good idea, Naruto said. You don't have to fight if you don't want to. Shikamaru looked at Naruto curiously. Something was behind the blonde toe, but he couldn't get to finish that sentence, as Naruto pushed him off, as Shikamaru started to fall down, as he was just glaring up at Naruto, who was waving him down with a smile on his face. Shikamaru pulled two kunais as he stabbed them into the wall, keeping himself from crashing. I'm gonna make you pay for that, Naruto, he said. He then sighed. That would be too much of a drag, he said to himself. As he then walked over slowly. So you really decided to come down here? I thought you would be a wimp and give up. As Shikamaru looked at Temaru, who just spoke to him, he looked towards the proctor. Are the both of you ready? The proctor asked. Shikamaru sighed as he just looked up in the sky. Temaru nodded. He looked like the pansy don't want to fight. Always with the girls, Shikamaru muttered. Every single time I have to fight a girl, he said. Let's get this over with. Let the first match of the finals of the Chunin exams begin! As the both of them started a battle. Meanwhile, up in the stands, Naruto felt someone getting close to him, but he just stood there, not noticing their presence. As the person came right beside him and looked down as well. The person didn't say anything for a long minute until she finally spoke. So, are you gonna pretend to be weak when fighting Jiu-Jitsu and not showing all of your abilities? As Naruto didn't turn around to face her, as it was the girl from Kumo Samui beside him. Naruto then turned and looked at her. Did you tell your Raikage about what you saw in the forest, he said. Who's to know, she said, looking over at the Kage's box. What if I did? What will it change? I just want to know, Naruto asked. I am not at liberty to discuss any of my village information with you, she said to him. As Naruto looked at her curiously, you know, you're rather strange. And why is that, she asked. I can't really say, he said, as he turns attention back to the fight. And no, I won't be holding back on your friend. After all, she's a Jinchuriki. She must be quite powerful. I can't let my image and my name get disrespected so easily, Naruto said, even when it comes up against a Jinchuriki. She didn't say anything else as she just watched the match down below. After a couple of minutes, the match came to an end, with Shikamaru trapping Temaru with his shadow possession. As Minato, the Raikage, they were impressed. The Kazekage just looked down. As the Raikage spoke, that boy, he's a Nara. Certainly intelligent, isn't he? Well, all Naras are praised for their quick thinking and their intelligence, said Minato. Yes, and their laziness as well, said the Kazekage. Yes, that is right, said Minato with a small chuckle. As Minato just looked at the Kazekage at the corner of his eye, something was definitely up with this man. He met Raza a couple of times. Raza, Gaara's father, the Kazekage, and they usually talk, but this was different. He just felt something off about this man, as he didn't believe that he was the Kazekage. Something was up here. But he would just wait till the time is right to make a move. As he wondered if Jiraiya or Tsunade suspect this. Well, mostly Jiraiya, seeing that Jiraiya came with him when they were going to Raza to talk to him about the peace treaty between Konoha and the Sand. Back down in the arena, Temaru gritted her teeth as she couldn't move her body, as she glared at Shikamaru, until he raised his hand as her hand started to raise as well. I give up, he said. What? Everyone was surprised to hear that. What are you doing, asked Temaru. I used up too much of my chakra. Fighting you would just be a waste of time, and I'll probably get hurt by that giant fan of yours. Seeing that my shadow possession is out now, he said, as his shadow retreated back to him. Genma walked up, as he declared Shikamaru giving up, and Temaru the winner of the match. As Temaru made her way back up to the stands, and so did Shikamaru. Coming up back there, Shikamaru looked at Naruto, as Naruto just looked at him with a smile. It seems like being a Chunin doesn't really matter to you, Naruto said, but you were awfully intelligent in that battle. Well, being a Chunin will only cause more extra paperwork, and that would be such a drag, Naruto said, finishing for Shikamaru, as Shikamaru simply nodded. As Naruto then turned to Samui, who was still standing there. I guess you're next. I hope Samantha kicked your ass, Naruto said, as Samui just looked at him, with that same blank expression on her face, as Naruto has been trying to get her to show any kind of emotion, but it was just always that same blank expression. He only saw that when Itachi kill the entire clan. He saw those looks on Samantha and Sasuke's face as he wondered what has she lost. She then slowly spoke. "And what if I were to kill her?" she said. And with that she just walked off, not saying anything else, as Naruto just watched her retreat. The next match, said Genma, Samantha Uchiha versus Samui off the cloud, he said. As Naruto turned towards Samantha. "You got this," he said. "Yeah, you do," Sasuke said. "So, kick her ass." As Samantha smiled, "Thank you guys. Don't worry, I won't fail you," she said, as she made her way down there. "Ah, Hokage," the Raikage said. "One of the Uchihas, finally. Now I can see what they're truly made of." "Well, you won't be let down," said Minato. "I hope so," said the Kazekage. When the both of them made their way down to the ring, the proctor asked if they were ready, as the both of them gave a nod. After Genma then jumped away, Samui spoke. "Your friend up there seemed to have confidence in you, that you can beat me." "Huh? You talking about Naruto?" "Yes." "Why would he think that? Are you that strong?" Overestimating yourself, aren't you?" "Why would I have to be that strong to defeat you? Are you that strong?" asked Samantha. As Samui just eyed her up and down. "We'll have to see. And I also want to see his reaction." "His reaction about what?" "When I come close to killing you," Samui said, as she pulled out a scroll and threw it up in the air. It then poof, as a katana landed, as she caught it. In an instant, she was in front of Samantha, as Samantha had to jump back as a slice teared through the air. Samantha speed through hand sign, fire style, as she took in a breath. "Lotus flame," she said, as she fired out small ball of fire. It was a lot of them, as Samui saw all the balls of fire coming towards her. "Come on, Samui, kick her ass," Karu said from the stands, as Amoy was beside her and just shook his head. "You're really getting overworked for this. These Konoha ninjas need to be put in their place," she said rather loudly. She then felt some glares on her as she turned to see all of the Konoha shinobis and the civilians glaring at her. "See what you have gone done now?" said Amoy. "Now they're looking at you with glares." "Shut up," she said. Meanwhile, the small fireballs rained down on Samui, as Samui simply stood there. She then quickly went through hand sign, water style. "Water slice," she said, as she ran her finger across her sword, adding chakra to it, as water started to form around her blade, as she swiped it through the air, as a massive water slice came and smashed into all of the fireballs, as the water slice was much greater in size, as steam filled the entire arena. Samui then dashed forward in the steam, as she brought her sword down, her eyes still locked on Samantha, as Samantha pulled out a kunai and clashed against her sword. As sparks was flying everywhere, metal was chipping against metal, until Samantha dodged under Samui's strike and went for a slash in her stomach. But Samui flipped up over her and delivered a kick to the back of her head, knocking her to the ground. Samui then spun in the air and directed her sword straight down towards Samantha's head. But Samantha rolled out of the way in a second as her sword buried down into the ground. As Samantha then flipped up in the air as she went through handstand again, lightning style, lightning streak, as she pointed her two fingers at Samantha, as a streak of lightning came from them as the bolt was incredibly fast. The moment it touched Samui, Samui replaced herself with a log. As Samantha then looked around until the ground beneath her exploded as the real Samui came out, her fist dangerously close towards Samantha's chin. But Samantha tilted her head back, but Samui then landed a brutal kick in her stomach that sent her smashing off the ground. She quickly picked up herself as she activated her 3-totem Sharingan. "How about we kick this up a notch," she said, as Samui just walked over and picked up her sword. "Let's, shall we," she said. As she dashed forward, the both of them started clashing against each other again, kunai clashing against sword. Up in the stands, wow, Samantha's gotten a lot stronger, Naruto said. What do you think?" "She's my sister after all, and I am from greatness," Sasuke said. Still with that arrogant tone, said Naruto. "But yeah, you're right, she's gotten a lot stronger." "Yeah, I know," said Sasuke. "She's been busting her ass to train to get stronger over the past couple of weeks. But something is different about this other girl," said Sasuke. "You've seen it too," Naruto said. "Yes, look in her eyes. It seemed like she lost someone close to her. She barely has enough emotion But that's not it. It seems like she's holding back something dangerous. Something dangerous? Yes, I believe so. We will just have to wait and see. Back down in the arena, sparks was flying everywhere as the kunai that Samantha was holding on was bruised and battered. As she threw it away, it was chipped up every way. She couldn't use it anymore. As she was watching Samantha still standing there, her breathing was a bit rugged, but it went back to fine in a few seconds. I must say, you're faster than I expected, Samantha said. You as well. I thought this wouldn't be so hectic. Now I can understand why he thought you would win. Are you still saying that you can beat me with ease? Asked Samantha. We will have to see about that. But it's time that I got serious, said Samui. As suddenly Samui vanished in a blur. As Samantha realized her speed has increased. Yes, she was holding back. As she appeared in front of her, but with her Sharingan she was able to mock and see her movements. As she ducked under a swipe, she thrust her fist forward, but Samui tilted her body out of the way. As she then spun her leg and knocked away Samantha's leg. As she then drive the sword down. But Samantha and her eyes made contact for a split second. As Samui froze. As she placed a quick genjutsu over her. As Samantha delivered a powerful backhanded strike that sent her sailing away. As she crashed into the stadium wall. Samui slowly picked up herself. As Samantha speaks through hand sign. Fire style. Fire dragon, she said. As she released a massive fire dragon that rushed towards Samui. As the fire dragon at the last second split. It split into 3 smaller dragons as they all cornered her. Meanwhile, up in the stands, the Raikage looked down. It seems like this match is over, he said. You don't have that much faith in your shinobi? Asked the Kazekage. No, it's over for the Uchiha, the Raikage said. Suddenly, there was a violent storm that blew away all of the dragons. As Minato narrowed his eyes, what was that? Well, you see, Samui there has a rear Kekkei Genkai, the storm release. It seems like she's ready to bring it out. I understand what you mean now, Raikage, said the Kazekage. Meanwhile, back in the arena, what the hell was that? Asked Samantha. My bloodline. Kekkei Genkai. Storm release. Let me show it to you, she said. As the wind started to blow violently around her. And the wind started to pick up even more, tearing through the earth as she sent a violent tornado towards Samantha. Samantha jumped out of the way, but tornado destroyed the ground with so much force. Debris and everything smashed into her that pushed her back. Samui then went through hand sign as a weird mist started to form above her, and it then formed and got larger until it was on top of the arena. As deadly violent winds started to pick up inside the arena, as Samui was standing in the center of it, as the mist cloud started to release rain. As Samantha had to activate chakra on the bottom of her feet to stay still, as the winds were dreadful and trying to blow her away. Samui simply flicked her wrists, as a deadly tornado was sent towards Samantha, as Samantha leaped out of the way as tornado destroyed where she was, tearing through the ground. I guess you really are something special, said Samantha. As she went through hand sign, she released a large, massive fireball. But Samantha watched as Samui used the wind as she manipulated the fireball by controlling the wind around it. The fireball grew 5 times the size and it was sent back to Samantha as it exploded where she was. As everyone watched in shock, they waited until it cleared. When it cleared, nothing was there. As Samui smirked, I have control over everything here. Everything in this arena, do you really think you can sneak up on me like that? As Samui just moved her body slightly, as several kunais passed her. As she turned around to see Samantha standing there, there was a few cuts and bruises on her, but other than that she was fine. As Samantha smiled, all in this with my new jutsu, she said. Meanwhile up in the stands, what new jutsu, Naruto asked, as he was looking down. She was working on something, but she wouldn't tell me what it is, said Sasuke. Well then, let's see what she has to do, Naruto said. As in the back of his mind he was worrying because of what Samui said to him about killing Samantha. Back in this arena, Samantha created 2 clones. As the both of them dashed forward, clones, Do you really think that will help you? Let me show you the extent of my storm release. As the cloud above her started to cackle as lightning was being produced from it. As the lightning rushed down and hit her body, but it didn't harm her. The lightning was dancing all around her in full force. She extended both of her arms forward as lightning shots started to blast from her hands. The clones managed to evade one of them, but the second one came in too fast and destroyed the first clone. The second clone fired off several explosive tags as they hit the ground and created a huge explosion as dust and smoke filled the area. Samui then spinned around as Samantha was behind her. As the both of them made eye contact for a brief second, as Samui then raised her hand and lowered it as a lightning strike destroyed Samantha, but she poofed away, it was just a clone. But then Samui felt something harsh connected in her back as she was sent sailing away. As the one that kicked her was Samantha, but it exploded because it was just a clone. Because of the lightning produced from Samui, when she was touched by Samantha's clone, the clone felt the effect as well. What just happened? Said Samui as she picked up herself. How did she got behind her so quickly and she didn't even notice? As Samui then noticed it, she then flared her chakra a bit as she broke out of the small genjutsu placed on her. That genjutsu was quite precise, everything was the same around here. She then noticed that Samantha was on top of the stadium wall as she was holding her hand down. Suddenly, lightning started to radiate all around her as she put her two hands on the stadium wall. Chakra stuck into her feet. As Samantha started to concentrate, lightning started to produce even more. It started to become violent and deadly as it started to tear through the stadium wall. So this is that new technique you were talking about, said Samui. But Samantha didn't answer. Now, she said, try this on for size. Lightning Dragon. As her entire body erupted in lightning. As a large dragon made from lightning surrounded her, as its two giant wings spread out wide. She then started to move off at tremendous speed. As Samantha smirked. It's been a long time since I have to go up against something like this. Something this dangerous, she said. As she let the wind start to pick up around her body, along with the lightning mix in, as the cloud was releasing rain. As the rain was pouring down, making the atmosphere even more deadly, as the storm release was swirling everywhere. As she dashed forward as well, taking the challenge on head on. As everyone in the audience hold their breath at anticipation to see what was going to happen. As both girls smashed into each other, creating a huge bright light that forced the people to shield their eyes. It took a couple of seconds to die down, but after it did, both girls were still on their feet, both of them battered and bruised. As the both of them were still holding their arms up to fight, the lightning really did a number on the both of them. The attack, as Samui was starting to show exhaustion and her body was getting rather tired, as it was taking a lot of chakra to use her storm release, to use her ability on such a scale to produce a light like that. And Samantha just used that ability, and that caused a lot of her chakra. As the both of them reared their faces back, as they thrusted for their primal roar and smashed it into each other's faces, as the both of them fell over with a thud. Everyone watching waited for the both of them to get up, but to their surprise, neither of them did. As the both of them were out cold, as Genma just stood there, as he did not even say who was the winner or anything yet. The arena was a mess because of the lightning. He had to get away from it. These were not ordinary kids, he said, as he then went down there. The both of them were truly unconscious. This match is a draw, he said, due to both contestants being unconscious, as everyone gasped in the arena. That was truly impressive, for the both of them did knock out at the same time though. Truly exquisite. As the daimyos were there watching as well, as they were rather impressed in that show. They would love to see more. The two girls were taken to the infirmary. I must say, Hokage, said the Raikage, these kids of yours are truly something, to be able to stand up against Samui with her storm release. Yes, they are truly something, said Minato. Well then, said the Kazekage, let's see what else they have in store for us. After 10 minutes, the arena was set back after an Earth-style user fixed it back, as the place was too in a wrecked shape to perform anything. So after 10 minutes were up, Genma called out for the next two, Naruto Uchiha versus Yujito off the cloud. As Sasuke placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Sure hell, Sasuke said. And don't go getting knocked out as well. Huh, you always say you're the strongest. So let's see how just strong you are, he said. Do you have that little faith in me, said Naruto. I'm gonna win this match. I promise you that. I hope you just don't get your ass kicked, Naruto said. Because I will face you in the finals, and I will kick your ass to show you that I am the strongest. In your dreams, Sasuke said. Just don't lose out there. Well then, Naruto said, as he slowly made his way down. Naruto said Shikamaru, if he becomes a drag, you can just give up. As Naruto sighed, only if he becomes a drag, he said, as he went down there. On his way down, Yujito catch up with him as the both of them start to walk at a steady pace. She didn't say anything. So, you're gonna give it your all, Naruto said, trying to break the uncomfortable silence. That is only if you give it your all. What do you mean, said Naruto. I mean, don't hold back, she said to him. This is a match to prove which one of us is the strongest. So don't you dare go and hold him back on me. You really are a proud Kunoichi, Naruto said. Of course I am. And I will not have it any other way by losing to you. Alright then, said Naruto. I'll give it my all. I just hope you do the same. As the two made their way down there. Ah, Hokage, said the Kazekage. This is your son, isn't it? Well then, let's see what he can do. As Minato just smiled, seeing Naruto. As Haku and Kushina looked down, seeing Naruto standing there. Naruto's gonna fight now, said Haku. There is a guaranteed he will beat this girl no matter what. Yeah, for sure. He's gonna kick her ass, said Kushina. As Haku just chuckled, as her adopted mother is really playful most of the time. As Genma asked the both of them if they're ready, the both of them slowly nodded. Genma then told them to begin as he vanished away. For a second, neither of them moved. As Naruto did not say anything, neither did she. She then reached around as she pulled her sword as it gleamed in the light. Naruto pulled out a scroll as there was a poof. As people looked at the sword as they gasped. The reason being that was the blade of Kushina Uzumaki, the red hot habanero. Said the Raikage up in the stands. I see, so your wife has passed on her sword to her son. Well then, this should be an interesting battle, the Kazekage said. The both of them looked at each other in the arena, neither of them saying anything. So, you ready, Naruto asked. As she took a fighting stance, I wouldn't have it any other way. The both of them then dashed forward as they started clanging their swords against each other. Hey kitten, the Nibi said to Yujito. I want you to take this seriously. Usually you hold back against the other Genins and low-ranked Shunins in Kumo. But this boy, he's something different. Remember what I told you about the ability of his. That wood style can suppress my abilities. So if you have the chance, end it sooner than possible if you want to win. Trust me, Nibi, I won't let him beat me no matter what. As the Kenjutsu battle started again, with each of them block and parrying each other attacks, until the both of them jumped back. I must say, you're rather impressive with that sword than I thought, said Yujito as he looked at Naruto. Thanks for the compliment. You're good as well, he said, as he dashed forward again, as the both of them started to parry each other attacks. The both of them went into a lock, pushing back each other to show who's the strongest, as Naruto was clearly the strongest, overpowering her. But she then released all the grip on her blade, allowing her to fall over, as he was pushing with so much force he was coming down now. Before he could grab his balance, she planted a devastating kick into his stomach. As that kick knocked the wind out of him for a split second, she then followed it up with a roundhouse kick to his face that sent him sailing. She then dashed on the side as she appeared behind him, as she infused her fist with Nibi's chakra and smashed it into his back, as Naruto was sent sailing forwards as he smashed on the ground. She then gained a cocky smile on her face. I told you it wouldn't be that hard. He's not done yet, Nibi said. Naruto slowly picked up himself as he held on to his sword the entire time. as he turned towards her fully. "I must say, you're quite weak." "What?" she said, caught off guard by that. "No, it's not you to say, but I thought the Nibi pack a stronger punch than that." So you know," she said. "Well, yeah, but it seems like you're still holding back. You said you wouldn't hold back against me, so what's up?" Naruto said. "I want to see your full strength here and there. That is why I allow you to hit me." "Allow me to hit you?" she said, as she clenched her fist rather tight, gripping the sword even tighter. "Yes, that's what I said. I allowed you to hit me." "Kitten, calm yourself. Can't you see he's just messing with you?" Yujito looked over at Naruto. "I won't let you take me for a fool," she said. "I wasn't," Naruto said, as he stabbed his sword into the ground. He then dashed forward towards her. As she could see clearly, chakra was radiating off his entire body. As he was coming at tremendous speed, she swung her sword towards his neck, but he grabbed the blade. As that shocked everyone, as everyone gasped in the arena. He held on to it with great force. She tried to pull it away, but he was holding on to it tight. And because of his body infused with so much chakra, it was not cutting him or breaking his skin. She brought up her feet and tried to slam it in his face, but he brought up his hand. As her feet made contact with his hand, as her feet was covered in Nimbi's chakra, as there was a huge booming effect. She then let go of her sword as she flipped over and brought down her heel into an ox kick, straight towards his skull. He raised his hand in the air, in an X motion after dropping her blade. As her leg made contact, the ground under him shattered from the force behind her kick, but Naruto stood there. He then grabbed her leg and twisted her and threw her to the side. She went through hand sign in mid-air. "Fire mouse ball," she said, as she fired all 7 of those blue mouse balls that were encased in blue flames. All of them came towards Naruto as he speeded through hand sign. Wind style, great wind breakthrough, as a massive wind attack struck into them. As they attack cancelled each other. As Naruto looked at her carefully, she then narrowed her eyes. "It seems that you're stronger than I thought, but it doesn't matter, you will lose." "Well then," Naruto said, "let's see you make that a reality." As he dashed forward, as she infused her fist with Nibi's chakra, as the both of them started to trade punches. As they were trading punches, he realized how smart he was. He was applying so much chakra to his body parts where she was about to strike, knowing that the chakra would affect him in great ways. So he parried off the attack by using his own chakra to block it. But is his chakra real that dense? "It is the same as that man that captured me all those years ago," said Nibi. "Defeat him, kitten. Don't hold back. Make sure you make him pay." "Don't worry, Nibi. I'll get revenge for you." As Yujito launched up into the air, she went through several hand signs as she released a screeching bird that was made from blue flames as it sailed towards Naruto. Naruto was about to fire off an attack when the bird suddenly stopped and exploded in a bright flash of light that consumed the entire place, as everyone had to shield their eyes. As all of this was going on, Gar was watching, as this battle was really getting his blood boiling, as he cannot wait to make Mother taste blood. As he was looking around the arena to see his opponent right there, he was going to make his mother taste his blood very soon. As Naruto recovered from shielding his eyes, Yujito appeared in front of him as she thrust her fist into his gut. As Naruto channeled the chakra there before it could hit him. When he did, he didn't take so much of a heavy blow. As he grabbed onto her hand, his hands coated in chakra, as he raised her above him with his superhuman strength. As she was caught off guard by that action, as he brought her down the boom, shattering the very ground underneath her. He then raised his heel straight up in the air. As he brought it down, she brought both of her hands in front of her face in an X motion. As his legs smashed against it, the entire ground underneath her exploded. As Naruto then extended chains from his hands, as he wrapped her in her midsection, as he twirled her around and thrust her straight up into the air. He then created a clone as the clone grabbed onto his back and threw him straight up. As Naruto appeared above her and drive down his heel. But she snapped the attention as he caught it. "I won't let you take me down that easily," she said, as she wrapped her arms around him, and the both of them started to spin in a deadly fashion, holding on to each other. As they came down to the ground, a boom. As everyone watched, when the dust and smoke cleared, the both of them were back on their feet, trading blows, smashing their fists together in the center of the arena. The Wind Daimyo looked over at the Lightning Daimyo. Is this really Jennings? Yes, said the Fire Daimyo. The Lightning Daimyo also had a proud look on his face to know that Yujito girl came from the cloud. The Fire Daimyo was also very impressed by young Naruto, as his daughter had talked about him. He has a proposal in mind, but for now he just wanted to see how this will play out. The Wind Daimyo was just waiting. But for one thing, Temari already won the match even though it was because of the other boy giving up. But Gaara will perform soon enough, putting the rest of them to shame by showing them his strength is above all of these other kids. But he's not so sure about this Naruto fellow, as he seemed rather strong for his age, even beyond most of others. Meanwhile in the arena, both Naruto and Yujito jumped back, as Naruto was quite winded. But he just huffed a few times as he got back up. I must say you're stronger than I thought. You too as well, she said, but it doesn't matter, you will still lose. I already told you that. Naruto smirked. What is with that smirk, she asked. The ground then broke under her feet as a hand grabbed her. She looked down, but the moment she took her eyes off Naruto, he appeared in front of her. As a leg slammed into her gut with so much force she thought she went unconscious for a second there, until she snapped back into it. As her body sailed into the arena wall, she smashed against it. She peeled herself off though, but Naruto was too fast for her, as a chain shot from where he was as it wrapped around her midsection. It raised her up and pulled her towards him, as she realized she was being pulled right into a fist. Maybe now, she said. Suddenly the chain snapped as a blue aura exploded from her body. As everyone watched, wait, what is this feeling? Most of them wondered, as this power was not ordinary chakra. As a man then spoke, is she a tail beast, a Jinchuriki? As everyone started to look around and wonder, was she really a Jinchuriki? Back to the arena, Naruto stepped back as he watched a giant two-tailed cat form in front of him. The thing looked at him with a menacing look as it growled at him. The thing then opened its mouth wide as a giant blue mouse, this was 10 times larger than the one that she did, rushed towards him, tearing through the very ground. As Naruto jumped away, the thing exploded as flames were sent everywhere. As a flicker of flame caught him on his arm, he quickly patted it off. The thing then flapped both of his tail that smashed into the ground. It created a shockwave in the arena, as most of these civilians were scared as hell, as they wanted to run because this looked like he was going to get out of hand. Meanwhile, in the Kage's box, are you sure she is under control? Asked Minato as he saw this girl look like she's about to get out of hand. Don't worry, she and her Biju, they are sync. She has total control over it. You don't have to worry about her destroying anything here or affecting the stadium. I would say you just have to worry about your son. Oh, I think Naruto can handle this, said Minato. You really have that much faith in him, said the Raikage. He must be special then, said the Kazekage. Meanwhile, Naruto was running from the giant cat as the thing was chasing after him with tremendous speed. As he jumped against a wall, the thing smashed right into it as Naruto leaped back, as he then held out his hand. I guess it's time I reveal my secret, he said. As he quickly speed through hand sign, the Nibi came to a stop. Inside of her mindscape, Yujito was watching everything. It seems like he wants to suppress you, she said. Yeah, but we can't allow that, Nibi said. Back outside in the arena, Nibi let out a roar that blew Naruto away as he was sent flying back. When Naruto finally gained composure, the Nibi already appeared in front of him as she brought down her paw and smashed where he was. As everyone up in the stadium was watching, as Kushina was worried for her child, this was getting out of hand, this was a tail beast. As Sasuke was watching as well. With Hawk was all of them, this was getting out of hand. But the Nibi found that her paw could not press down anymore. She then saw a wood vine wrapped around it. That surprised everyone in the stadium except for the few that know. As all of the trees that were destroyed in the stadium, piece of theirs started to break off. As piece of it started to break off and new spores started to come from it. New pieces of trees' leaves started to grow from it. The entire arena started to get full up with trees, as the place started to look luscious and full. The Nibi was thrown back with so much force it smashed into the wall. As Naruto picked up himself fully, He speed through hand sign, nativity, the sea of trees, he said as he slammed his hand on the ground. The entire ground exploded outwards as massive wood vines came out and thrust towards Nibi. They smashed upon her, knocking her to the ground. Wait, he possessed Mokiton? A man questioned in the arena after getting over his shock. Whoa, he has the will of fire in him, like the first Hokage Hoshirama. Naruto is truly special. Meanwhile, the Fire Daimyo was also watching, as he never expected anyone else of this generation to possess Mokiton. This was truly something impressive. Well, well, Fire Daimyo, said the Lightning Daimyo. It seems like one of your subordinates have a special rare ability to possess the long-forgotten Mokiton of the first Hokage. Yes, truly impressive, said the Wind Daimyo. The Nibi was clawing and trying to smash against the trees, but they were wrapping around her tight and she could feel her chakra being suppressed back, as this wood style was something dangerous for them Bichus. As Naruto then went through hand sign, 10 Pillar of Enlightenment, he said. As 10 pillars appear around the Nibi, Naruto then leaped forward, using his wood style to run on top of a couple of trees as he arrived. 10 strange wooden things came from the ground, as they all had tangles on them. As Naruto made his way over there, the Nibi was trapped in the circle as Naruto slammed his hand right on her forehead. He then jumped back as a green glow was pulled along with him. Meanwhile, inside of her mindscape, I'm sorry, kitten, the Nibi said. He got me. Damn it, Yujito cursed, as she could only watch as Nibi fade back into the seal. As everyone watched as the two-tail was going back in. As Yujito came out as she collapsed on her knees. Her entire body was weakened. After going under such a transformation, she could not do anything right now, as she was still surrounded by trees and these strange wooden things when she saw Naruto landed in front of her. As he had a smile on his face, she looked up at him. She lost. I guess I'm gonna finish it now, Naruto said. As everyone watched as he pulled back his fist, they all gasped. But Kushina knew her son wouldn't be so heartless, as he thrust his fist forward, but he stopped. As he then poked her in the forehead. As Yujito looked at him. Why did you stop, she said. I clearly lost, you could have done what you wanted. Huh, don't be stupid. Why would I kill you, Naruto said. You did nothing for me to do such thing. You are truly strong, she said. Even after facing me in my Bichu form, you still look like you can fight again. Well, don't count yourself so short, Naruto said. You're strong as well. As her body felt limp, she collapsed over, but Naruto caught her as she collapsed right in his arms. Thanks for the good fight, she said. As she passed out, he picked her up as a medic came over as he handed her to the medic. Winner of the match, Genma said after getting over his shock. Uchiha Naruto! As the entire place was quiet for a second, until it exploded in applause and cheers. Well, I must say, the Raikage said, your son is quite something else. To be an Uchiha, and also have the famous Senju bloodline, the Mokiton that no one else possessed over some centuries except for the first Hokage. I must say, he's going to be something great one day. As Minato could only smile. Yes, he is, the Kazekage said. Minato narrowed his eyes when Kazekage spoke. He was still not convinced that this man was a Kazekage, but he has not done anything yet. He was just waiting to see what he would do. Because if he is wrong and he tries something dangerous, this would be stupid on his part. But he was extremely proud of Naruto, as he handled that situation well. And through all of that, Naruto was still holding back, because Minato had shown him a few things about the Mangekyo Sharingan, and Naruto did not use it in the match. As his son was truly powerful, maybe even one day will rival him. Meanwhile, with the Kazekage, it was Orochimaru in disguise, as he was grunting in frustration and anger. As he has to do the plan now, he has to give the signal now why Senju is still weak. Seeing how easy it was for him to suppress the two-tailed Biju, it will be much easier for him to suppress the one-tails. So while he's still weak, he has to do the invasion now. But guys, and be any episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notifications they posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform, and stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.